Adumo Adum Arakwa. Believers all the way. Philadelphia, and I believe and I know wherever you are, you've responded at Deshakunkro. Beloved, partakers of the heavenly calling, you once again welcome to another edition of the Friday Sermon Summary. I'm your usual presenter, your brother, Kyei-Duah. But without much ado, I'd like to extend greetings to our father, Stephen Kyei-Duah, the voice of God. Not forgetting our mom, Owahine, Owabrempon, and Pankasa Kyei-Duah, the first. Daddy and mommy, may God continue to shower his blessings upon you as you always keep on reminding us and guiding us to the right path. Not forgetting our wonderful viewers, those watching us on Second Chance TV, those on our various social media handles, those on our various frequency modulators who have tuned in to listen to us. We say, Adum Nyame bless you all. And not forgetting those also watching us from our mobile app, we say, Adum Nyame bless you all. May we proceed on to what transpired today. Today, the voice of God began his sermon by first reminding us on our contributions towards the purchase of the special chairs for the promised land. According to Stephen Kyei-Duah, the voice of God, as believers, as Philadelphians, we are supposed to emulate his good steps. We are supposed to learn from him. He, out of his will, out of a willing heart, donates a lot. He supports a lot. He single-handedly does a lot for the Philadelphia movement. And just as he has also been blessed by God, and he with a good motive, with a good notion for God to also bless us in like manner, he expects us to learn, emulate his good steps by also doing well, to donate, to also support in this manner. We are also supposed to donate. According to Stephen Kyei-Duah, the voice of God, this is a privilege for us. He donates and God has blessed him. So in like manner, we are also supposed to use this opportunity. We are supposed to use this opportunity to also give to give whatever we have. We are supposed to also do our part by donating, so that God in like manner would also bless us, that God would bless us. And this is a privilege, not a means of siphoning from us, no, but it's a privilege for us to also receive blessings from the Almighty God. So Stephen Kyei-Duah, the voice of God, today reminded us that time slowly, gradually is fast spent, but still he's looking forward to us, that we also bring in our donations so that we'll be able to purchase the chairs in time, and we'll be able to have our 31st watch night on the promised land as being promised. From here, Stephen Kyei-Duah gave a special announcement to all those, the aged especially, and those who are not technically inclined. He said to all those who cannot go to walk to the banks to do their transactions, all that we have to do is go to our brothers, the brothers who are close to us, in the various Philadelphia movement centers. We have to go to them, hand our monies to them, and give them our mobile numbers and our names, our contacts and our names. And these monies will be transferred to the headquarters, after which these monies will be transferred into the accounts. And we will receive alerts, text messages, as to prove that our transactions have been done correctly. And he said, Stephen Kyei-Duah said, if we do not receive the messages, then we need to call to verify, to see if the transactions have been done or not. So he said that if we cannot personally do the transactions, we have to go and give the monies to our brothers who are close to us, so that they will rather send the money to the headquarters for the transactions to be done, and we will receive alerts confirming the transactions that we were supposed to do. And he said we can also do this transaction. If we personally can do it, then we can do our transactions through, we have our Fidelity, that's that of the bank. We can send our donations through, we have the account name as being that of Believers Worship Center, account number 10568354308338. And I repeat it again, 105683543038. And that of the mobile money, he said you can do your transactions through the mobile money also. And with the mobile money, you can do it, the account name is the same, Believers Worship Center. With that of the mobile money, the account name is the Believers Worship Center, and the merchant number is 0597420274. I repeat, 0597420274. And this is the merchant number on which you can send your donations for the purchase of the chairs. The merchant ID is 674152. 674152. From here, Stephen Adumuchedua proceeded with the sermon for the day. According to Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God, he said, up to date, people are still worried and asking a lot of questions about him. They are still worried, asking a lot of questions. Some people are asking, so is Stephen Adumuchedua truly from God? Up to date, people are still worrying and asking themselves these questions. That is Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God, truly from God? Are his works truly being made by God? Or are his works that he do, are these works from God? People are asking themselves these questions. Why do they keep on asking themselves these questions? Because they say, why is it that God is looking unconcerned, whilst other men keeps on chastising, attacking, insulting Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God? So if he is truly from God, then they expect to see something, God doing something. But Stephen Adumuchedua today asked me to tell you that let your heart be at peace. That all those who are still asking themselves these questions, all those who are still asking themselves these questions, are still pondering over these questions, he said, let your heart be at peace. For this is what is about to happen. That God is dividing this nation into four main parts. God is dividing the nation into four main parts, and he will be giving 3/4 of these parts. He will be giving 3/4 of these parts, and the one part which will be left out will be those who will be rejected, will consist of those who are rejected by God. But those who will be liked by God would constitute these 3/4 of the four parts that God is dividing the nation into. So Stephen Adumuchedua said, he asked a question that, what happens to things that God doesn't like, or people whom God hates? What happens to them? And what happens to those that God likes? So we are to take note of these things. And he said, to all those who have been insulting, casting insinuation, attacking him, we are to just take note of these people. Just put the dates down and let's see what happens afterwards. Let's see what time has for us. From here, he proceeded to tell us he asked us to open our Bibles to Acts chapter 6, verse 8. And I take it from the Bible, Acts chapter 6, verse 8. And from the Bible. Now, Stephen, a man full of God's grace and power, performed great wonders and signs among the people. In the other versions of the Bible, we see the Bible using the words faith and power. Faith and power. Faith and power. So Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God, asked these very important questions after letting us read this quotation. He said, the Bible says, now Stephen, a man full of God's faith and power. Faith and power. So Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God, asked these questions. Was Stephen one of Jesus' disciples? We all attest to the fact that Stephen was never one of Jesus' disciples. And where from him? The third question was that, where was he when the disciples were following Christ? Where was Stephen? Stephen was nowhere to be found. But here we find a man who is filled. He is full of God's faith and power. Even though he wasn't one of the disciples of Jesus Christ. Stephen wasn't one of the disciples of Jesus Christ. So Stephen Adumuchedua told us that we are to look at him. We are to see him, focus our attentions on him with the spectacle of Stephen. The way we see Stephen as being described in the Bible is the same way we are to look at Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God. That he is a man being filled with spirit, with faith, and with the power of God. With faith and with the power of God. Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God, proceeded to ask this question. What has a man of faith got to do with issues concerning witchery? What has a man of faith in God got to do with naysayings? Now, what has a man of faith in God got to do with discouragement? What has a man of faith got to do with these things? Witchery, naysaying, and discouragement. Just as Stephen Adumuchedua always say, that what concerns an aeroplane with an overhead bridge, there is a vast gap between them. A man of faith has nothing to do with witchery, naysaying, or discouragement. So he asking us to look at him with the spectacle of Stephen as being described in the Bible proves that he is equally a man filled with faith and with power. So Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God, proceeded to talk about faith and power. According to Stephen Adumuchedua, the voice of God, Stephen wasn't there when the disciples were learning from Jesus Christ. When the disciples were following Jesus Christ and learning from him, Stephen was nowhere to be found. But how come that we have Stephen who is filled with faith and power? How come? Here's Stephen Adumtede, the voice of God came and said, he said he's no one's pastor, neither is he anyone's prophet. He isn't anybody's pastor, neither is he anybody's prophet. And he is not a member of the Christian Council. He wasn't trained by any theological school. No. He doesn't belong to any, he's not a pastor, he's not a prophet, and he even doesn't belong to the Christian Council, just as Stephen didn't belong to the disciples. But here we see Stephen being filled with faith and with power from God. So he asks us to look at him with the same spectacle. With the same spectacle. Here's Stephen Adumtede, because he is filled with the power, he's able to command, he's able to order, and it comes to pass, and it is being fulfilled because he's being backed with the faith, with power from God. So Stephen Adumtede asks us to look at him with the spectacle of Stephen as being described in the Bible. He's able to say, take it, and men are having their testimonies. He's able to order that as a sick, rise from your sickbed, and people are able to rise from their sickbed. This is a clear empirical evidence that he possesses power. He is filled with power and he is filled with faith. So we are to look at him with the same spectacle, in the same shoes of Stephen being described in the Bible. So he asks the question, should one with such a power go out there begging? Should somebody possessing, someone filled with faith and power from God, go out there begging? That is the difference between him and the other men of God out there. That is the clear difference between him and the other men of God out there. He is able to order. Stephen Adumtede is the only man of God who has been able to prove that distance is never a barrier. So no matter where you are, he's able to tell us to place water by our television set, take it, and miracles works after that. So this is a clear or empirical evidence that Stephen Adumtede, the voice of God, is a man who is filled. The word, underlined word, is filled with faith and power from God. And this isn't common. We don't usually see this. They come once in every generation. They come once. So Stephen Adumtede, the voice of God, asks us to know this, that because the others are not filled with faith and power, that is why they go about breaking, binding, and losing. Because if you have power, if you have faith in God, why would you go about breaking, losing, and binding? All that you need to do, because you have power, you command. Because you have power, you order, and it is being established. But because the others lack the faith and power embedded in God, that is why they go about breaking and losing. So he asks us, he admonished us today, that we have to look at him with the spectacle of Stephen, because he is also filled with faith and power. And according to Stephen Adumtede, the voice of God, he said he will continue to bring us revelations for us to understand him better. Because in this world, if you are oblivious of what the world entails, it puts you into captivity. Yet, if you are able to become knowledgeable of what this world entails, there and then will you be able to do something about it. So Stephen Adumtede said he will keep on revealing to us many hidden secrets in the Bible. Stephen Adumtede went on to explain why he always says that he's taking over Christianity. Why he's taking over Christianity. Many men of God out there, when they heard him say that he's taking over Christianity, they thought he was coming for their congregants. He was coming to snatch their congregants from them. No. According to Stephen Adumtede, we needed to have been fast and smart. Men of God out there, you needed to have been fast and smart to be able to decipher, to be able to decode the meaning of what he said, that he's taking over Christianity. According to Stephen Adumtede, the voice of God, he said, he is here. The meaning of he taking over Christianity is that we are going to embrace, we are going to adapt his concept, his teachings about Christ. That is the meaning of he taking over Christianity. His teachings are going to be adapted by all of us. And in due course, this is also going on, because now we have empirical evidence of people who are saying that they are no more going to overturn curses. We have people who have gotten to believe in the concept of Kyei-Duah. There is none aside the power of God. And now people are also emulating his good steps. That is, when he donates to his congregants who are in need. Now, other men of God are emulating these good steps. This is why he said earlier on, and he continues to say, that he is taking over Christianity. It doesn't mean that he's coming to snatch your church members. No, but you will get to understand him better and embrace and be ready to embrace and adapt the good teachings that he, Stephen Adumchedo, the voice of God, brings along. So he asks us to note something over here, that he has been sent to come to fulfill the Bible in our times. He has been sent to come to fulfill the Bible in our times. And this is his sole duty. He is fulfilling, and we are seeing all this in his time. So he asks this question, that who can stand against someone who is filled with power and with faith? Nobody can stand against somebody who is filled with power and with faith. Nobody. So he, Stephen Adumchedia, no matter what the other men of God out there do, no matter what the other bloggers out there do, you can never stand against him, and he will continue to be victorious every time you rise. He spoke about Stephen, that Stephen was stoned and Stephen fell and slept. That is how the Bible describes Stephen, that Stephen fell and slept. Stephen Adumchedia said we have the likes of Ananias and co, who were described by the Bible as they died, but Stephen didn't die. He slept. And this time around, Stephen Adumchedo, the voice of God, is saying to us that Stephen has risen. He has woken up from his sleep. He has arisen. And he can never be killed, as people thought Stephen was killed. He wasn't killed, but he slept. Now Stephen has woken up from his sleep, and none can defeat him. This is why he, Stephen Adumchedo, the voice of God, has promised that we will have our testimonies and we will witness the works of Jesus Christ of old in our era. Stephen Adumchedo, the man of God, the voice of God, continued to talk about power. He said a man with power is capable of doing everything. A man with power is capable of doing everything. This is why he has single-handedly, as a single individual, constructed a whole auditorium, building a city for God. He possesses power. This is why he is able to organize that masses, that huge number of people to meet at a time for an all-night service. He single-handedly did all these things because he has power. He has been given power from God above. He orders the sick to rise from their sick bed. He is able to access. He orders and it comes to pass. He says and it comes, and it is being established. And this year, 2025, Stephen Adumchedo, the voice of God, told me to come and tell you that this year we are going to see a double portion of the testimonies that we witnessed in the years back. The testimonies that we've seen on our screens, this year we are going to see 2 times of those testimonies. The congregation, the number of congregants who gathered at the 31st all night last 2 years, he says we are going to see a double portion of that. And this is a man speaking out of power, and surely and truly it will come to pass. So, beloved partakers of the heavenly calling, this is Stephen Adumchedo, the voice of God. He is a man who is filled, not that he has, but he is filled with faith and power of God. And whatever he says is being established. Whatever he says or talks about comes to pass. Beloved partakers of the heavenly calling, to all Philadelphians, let us do well to contribute towards the buying of the purchasing of the chairs. And let's not forget, to those who can't do the transactions, Stephen Adumchedo today reminds us to go and see our brothers, give them our names and our contact numbers, so that the monies will be transferred to Kumasi, the transactions will be done, and we will receive text messages. In case your text message doesn't come, you can call to verify whatever went on. And to all of us, we are to know whom we are working with. The man of God who is filled with faith and with power. He is Stephen Adumchedo, the voice of God. Adumo Adum Arakwa. Bye-bye.